Hi, I've been working away with this 5 yards of muslin, and this is what it looks like when it comes home from the cloth merchant up in the garment district, the quartier des vêtements. And that's about 3 yards now, because I've taken 2 yards out of it, and I can show you the 2 yards. I'd love to show you the 2 yards. There's the 2 yards after it has been, first of all, I edge stitched it to prevent fraying while it was being washed, and I only had to get 2 sides on each piece because there was the border, the already stitched border yarn like that. So it comes out really nice and flat and easy to work with, and it did stop the fraying. Now there was some minimal fraying that does occur, but that happens with denim as well. So that's how it is, ready to go. So I'll put it over there by the sewing machine, and I've showed you how it came in from the store, and I've showed you the end result. Here's the middle. This is what it looks like when it comes out of the dryer. And I put that in the washing machine on hot wash to pre-shrink it, to shrink it. And then I put it in the dryer, and it goes in there for 50 minutes on high heat. So now I'm going to get going on starting to iron that up, and then also put it in my pile of muslin ready for production, ready to make something out of it. So I'm just going to show you a little bit of how I iron it. You really need a warm, like a hot iron. It's a little bit funny to deal with. All I've really dealt with up until now is denim, because I'm a new sewer. So my sewing is very elementary, because obviously I'm not cutting jean legs out yet. And once again, to clarify why we're using this as new sewers, as newbie sewers, it's cheap. It's only 10 bucks a yard in Canada. So it's probably less in the States, probably about 8 or 7 or something. And it's easy to work with. It's more malleable, it's more flexible, it's a softer, easier to deal with yarn, so that while you're learning to stitch and sew, you have some good movement on controlling the cloth, the yarn made fabric. So I'm just going to do a little bit of ironing, because it really does take a little bit just to even get it flat. So, but I'm not going to make a whole video of me spending half an hour to iron the whole yard or 2 or whatever I got there right now. So I'll get it set up, and here we go. For learning how to square the cloth to a true line, to a proof line, to make sure that it comes out perfectly rectangular or square with 90-degree angles, these are the measuring tools I'm using. I have a small, or what's this? This is a 12 by 8 Carpenter's square, and it has a little cut in there that you could use for a point or a post or a nail, or even maybe a pin or a whatever. And the same here. But I don't have to really use that. I just use my hands. And then of course the big one here is you know what, I thought it was 18 inches. It's only 16 inches that way, but it is how long this way? It is 23, 24. So it's 2 by 16, it would seem. And there are various variations for the measurement, whether it's 1/8 of an inch or quarter or 16ths or whatever. So those are the 2 tools that I use to square it up. The other thing, I use these sometimes as weights to hold the cloth down, as well as this crucifix that my acquaintance, friend John, down in Kingston, Ontario, Canada, made. He's a real artiste, I want to tell you. And the other tool that I use, that I'm always happy to use as a weight, is the 12-inch shears, the 12-inch shears, the 12-inch TAILORS shears. And I really like these. They're really cool. Don't you like those, man? So those are my paperweights, and I have other stuff that I can use if I really need to. But I wanted to show those to you first. And the other thing that I would like to show you before I show you a little bit of ironing here is that here's my denim cache, my supply of denim. And it's the same kind of process. Here I've got, okay, this is edge stitch. So this is denim that has been washed, hot, pre-shrunk. There you see some stitching there because I needed to practice as well. And this is, I believe, selvage. No, maybe not. There's no red or black in it, so it's just denim. It's not selvage. But that is ready to go. That has already been processed. And in the rest of the bag, I have some... Did I do all my denim? I think I might have done all my denim. The rest of it is just cotton. And there's some interfacing, some black interfacing. I haven't used that yet. But that denim certainly is ready to go. And I have enough denim for probably weeks because I have to use this to learn how to make the jeans. My first pair of jeans that well, the parts, it's gonna be a while. It's gonna be months before I make an entire pair of jeans. And I've given myself a year or less. But I'll be able to gauge it as I go along, you know, and I'm also having to start setting out, like, you know, how many steps between now and a year there will be to make this. So I've got the iron hot, still has water in it. And I'm still filming, that's a good thing too, because sometimes I yap on and show stuff and then I realize that the video was never turned on. And there I pressed the steam button and it pushed steam out. And when it pushes steam out, the steam comes out the front of the iron plate and it comes out the sides. It doesn't necessarily come out the back. And the reason I tell you that is because sometimes I have to remember to keep my hands and fingers away when I hit that steam button. In particular, if you're a fella that sometimes irons with no shirt on, which is not really safe. I would suggest that you always have a shirt on when you're using a steam iron because it's easy to forget and then get steamed. And it's hot and it's instant. It's not just because it's a slow-moving cloud or you think it's a slow-moving cloud, it isn't. Anyway, enough preaching. Let's do a little bit of ironing and show you how nice and flat this comes. But I wanted to mention that, a little bit about steam safety, and I also wanted to mention about the measuring devices I'm starting to learn how to use, and that I also use some of those measuring devices if they have a little bit of weight. I use them as weights to hold the cloth still while I try to stitch or iron or whatever. And you can see that it's starting to flatten out, but it's not one pass. And I'm happy with the iron. It's a Singer STEAMCRAFT, 1700 watt. And the first one, even though I didn't abuse it, the first one died. It just stopped working. So I was able to exchange it at one of my favorite Canadian stores that I buy tools and everything at. And all respect to Canadian Tire's copyright. And I'm not trying to benefit from using Canadian Tire's name, but that's where I go to buy a lot of my supplies for my channels. You know, because now I have a couple of channels, the sewing channel and the restoration channel. So I've I've done that side, it's still a little bit wrinkly, so I'll just turn it over. And when I turn it over, now I'm 180 degrees, so I can get this little end here. And I'm going to go all the way down to where I had ironed on the other side, just to flatten it all out some more. And I might lift that up a little. Let me see what you're looking at. I think you got me there. I think you got a view there. What I enjoyed about doing the edge stitching before I threw it in the washing machine so it wouldn't fray as much as it does, because as you can see there is some what I'd call minimal fraying, and I haven't trimmed the frays yet. I will trim all the little bits of fraying off before I put it back in the sewing machine and start to, well, even before that, before I start to cut it. I'm still making jeans, I'm still making pockets for jeans, front and back, and then in the course, the book that I bought, it's an online book from that lady in Sweden. She has, you know, it's one lesson after the other, and pockets is one of the first lessons, and then the jean fly, the zipper and the fly flaps that cover the zipper or the buttons. That comes after that, after the pockets, and then after that, the course, her book on how to make blue jeans. It gets into the waistband and the yoke on the back and the belt loops and all that stuff. So it's really interesting, and it wasn't expensive. It cost me less than $26 Canadian online to get the online version. It's such good information, and it's my main learn how to make jeans, kind of learn how to sew course and study book, textbook. So I'm going to get a hard copy. I'm going to go to a bookstore here, bookseller here in Montreal, Canada, and get the book. She also does a book on, she calls the serger an overlocker, because in Europe they call sergers overlockers, whereas here in North America we tend to call them sergers. So she also has a book on that. I haven't bought it yet, and I haven't started working on the serger. As I just explained, I'm still having to get a little more acquainted with the serger before I go much further. One other small thing I will say about the serger while I'm still mentioning it is that it's not that difficult for me to thread the serger and put the needle in. Actually, putting the needle in is quite simple, so I may just, my next video will maybe just be a short video about installing the B needle, the left side needle on the serger. For an old fellow like me, my eye prescription is not quite right, and there was a couple of other small, well, there's one other little small eye deal, one eye little problem. And my eyes are fine, like they're healthy, like I'm not going to lose eyes, and I don't have any eye disease or anything, except for the one has astigmatism, but I've had that since I was born with that. But yeah, I have to get a better prescription, because once you get into the serger and attempt to thread, the thread guides that the thread has to go in or through or whatever. That's the issue that is kind of slowing me down now. And I did thread it a number of times before I started videoing, and then of course as soon as you start videoing, that's when it all falls apart sometimes. So I'm sure some of you maybe do make videos and maybe can relate to what I'm professing here. So that's how the ironing is going to continue. It is starting to flatten out. when I wash my jeans, I wash them inside out, and same as when I iron. I iron them inside out, and I usually use, where's my green ironing towel? There it is over here. I usually use this no account dish towel that I've had forever, and I put that over the jeans as well. You've probably seen it in my jean ironing videos. Anyway, gals and guys, ladies and gentlemen, my wonderful viewers, subscribers, likers, and notifiers, that's this little ironing video where I talk about ironing and ironing safety a little bit, and about hot water washing and drying and all that good stuff. So it's December 30th, 2024, the day before New Year's Eve. Stay safe, have fun. You know, you guys are great. I'm so grateful for you. I love y'all, really. Thanks for coming here. Thank you, viewers, subscribers, friends, and you take care of yourselves, and we'll chat soon on a video. Adios, amigos. Alrighty, so I finished this last bit of ironing. That was the last bit. This other stuff was already done, right, that I showed you earlier. So now that's my pile of muslin ready to teach me how to sew jeans. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it.